Yep.
It's like, you want to turn off your ad blocker? No. Is that the right
Not
one?
necessarily.
Massively overpowered. What? I thought I had the right link. I guess I didn't.
No, this was the first one. Bethesda decided to shut down their official their forums, and move to Discord, which is quite the interesting move. So they will keep the Elder Scrolls Online forums, but everything else is on Discord now. That's a weird thing to do. Like, a community hub is now a forum. Like, what are they trying to achieve with this?
Let's see. I mean, thing is, I've talked about using Discord for forum use for our own project, and like we decided against it because logistically it's harder to keep tabs on things because it's just a big string of people typing all the time, which is kind of the same in forums, but forums is a little slower because, you know, they have to submit a message and then they wait for a reply, and submitting a message isn't just as simple as hitting enter, and it also isn't like a chat service. So I think it would just honestly make management of their quote unquote forum, pseudo forum now, more difficult. I don't know what the decision behind that is. But at the same time, I don't know. Like, it feels like it's one way to make it so that people's opinions matter a little less because they're buried under text.
Kinda. Like, when there's a forum post, there's a post. It has a name. People can go into it. It's already categorized, and the most popular ones rise to the top. Because that was kind of my opinion as well. If they find something that's broken or retarded, then that will be a thing. It'll be at the top of their forum, and people will be like, okay, this is the hot thing going on right now. And people will click on it, they'll look at it, they'll read it, they might respond. On Discord, it doesn't work that way. One dude says something, and then 5 seconds later, it's buried beneath text.
Yeah.
That might be one way to do it. And then, of course, it's because they're rolling out, partially, I think, because they're trying to get this whole Starfield thing on the road, and nobody quite knows what the hell this is, what it intends to be, what it wants to be, what any of the idea behind this is. So apparently now its release date is 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And we still don't even know the genre.
Yeah, that's
basically
weird to me. Okay, like, just for a second here, because as an indie developer, right? I went into making a video game, and originally it was going to be like Castle Crashers, but then it turned out that I didn't know how to fucking do that because I was too retarded. So then I made a turn-based game instead. One thing I want to point out here is the fact that they don't know and they haven't told people what genre it even is kind of alarming, and it's been in development for this long. That's kind of shit I figured out like a few months into the project. Like, how, when you have a team, and it's like, the thing is, they have like I forget what it's called, the DDD, right? It's a big giant grand design doc. And basically the idea is that it's all laid out in a big giant grandiose plan on how the game's going to work, how the mechanics going to function, how it looks, how it presents. And they haven't told anyone yet. Like, it just feels weird that they've held on to that information when it's very easy to say, yeah, no, it's a turn-based tactical RPG, or it's a real-time strategy game, or something like that. Like, anything, the most basic, like, genre terminology would be good enough. That's true, Disco.
well, it's just an RPG, apparently. And chat's already talked about this too. It's probably gonna be a disaster, and it kind of sounds like it. And it would be a lot easier to contain a disaster on Discord. Don't like it? Okay, just remove messaging permissions for a little bit. And nobody's going to report on it either, because it's not a forum. It's not an official thing. It's not a big thing. They could even just say, like, oh, we don't even run it. Like, we've got some volunteers running it.
Oh, those throwaways are fucking fantastic. I was... remember when MechWarrior 5 was the thing, and back when I was on the server, right? Because I was excited about the game before they lied to us and then put it on Epic. I fucking hate that shit. And I do remember that they would just go like, well, the moderators aren't really associated with the dev team, so, you know, we can't really be held responsible for what they do. It's like, okay, so good to know that you just hand mod roles to whoever for whatever rhyme or reason, because you just feel like it, right? Honestly,
for those who want it.
It feels like moderating servers like that is less of a what's the word, a mediator role, and it's more of a what's political commissar role.
And kind of has to, because the other thing too is, now that they no longer have control of their own forums, Discord technically has. Okay, a bunch of people post a bunch of gore porn in a channel, and their Discord gets yeeted. Like, that seems like a remarkable vulnerability all of a sudden.
It'd also be remarkably easy to purge an entire channel by just right-clicking, deleting. See, the thing with forums is, sure, they can delete a forum thread, and that's pretty easy too, from running a forum, depending on how their forums work, but I assume it's pretty simple, right? Censoring people is pretty easy, but it takes a little bit more time because management of that's a little slower. Here, not only do your opinions matter less, but they also are easier to just dismiss, because the entire quote-unquote discussion section can be yeeted with 2 clicks of a button. Right-click, delete. And I think a confirmation button, but that's 3. But still, it's pretty simple. And I don't think people are going to screen cap too much of that. Some people do. Some people are really autistic. Like, we've had people come into Arch and my server, and they try to take us out of context, and they try to screen cap and record things like that. People do that all the time. And I imagine people will do that on a server like this as well. But the thing is, it'll be a lot more difficult. And it's also, can be said, like, well, it was forged. You know? Because making that shit in Photoshop is really easy.
Very. It is an interesting move. And then, of course, again, Starfield also is, what was it? The date is in late 2022, with no more specifics than that. They reiterate that apparently the entire Bethesda team was working on Fallout 76, and if that took their entire team, then good God.
I still can't believe people actually enjoy that game now. Like, we tried it on stream, and it's absolutely horrendous. It's just boring.
It's just the third release of the same Fallout game.
It's the same
now
game.
With hacked on MMO mechanics.
It feels like, honestly, the MMO effect is like, oh, good, now there's more people to suffer and boredom with you. And you can't mod it. Like, yay. See, cooperative modes and multiplayer modes can make a game that is mediocre very enjoyable. But the problem for that game is it's not very enjoyable to begin with, and it's just kind of boring. Like, all you do is walk alongside each other and shoot stuff. Like, there's not a lot of interactivity or cooperativeness beyond that.
Well, that's kind of the problem. And that took their entire team to make. And so that's another thing too, right? If we take their word for it, Starfield only actually started proper development something around 2019, 2020. This is going to be such a disaster. Like, I am almost convinced this is going to be absolutely awful.
Yeah.
God. Have there even been any other... nope. Just space RPG. That is...
Okay, so they did give the most basic thing. But the thing is, like, they don't even go to detail, like, how it works. Like, even in our early stage, I can be like, well, the combat works on a grid, and you can move your little characters around. Like, they can't even go, like, oh, it works in, like, a first-person environment. You get, like, cool powers, and they don't even, like, try to excite you here. It's like, it's RPG, fuck you. And the word RPG, fuck me. That word is used so loosely nowadays, it's not even funny. Call of Duty
it is a game in which you have stats. That is what RPG means.
That is what, like, other indies I've talked to say too. Like, RPG, the definition now is you can talk to people, and, like, if you just say, like, it has numbers and they go up, people are like, that's RPG. That's...
Yep.
Number go up.
It has numbers, they go up, there might be some dialogue. There you go. That is a role-playing game. Enjoy.
It's kind of funny.